A lot of people already consider Mona Kimura one of the most exciting names in women's fighting, but there is another fighter rapidly demanding attention with a completely different kind of presence. Mariya Suzuki may look composed and approachable outside the cage, but once the action begins, that image disappears almost instantly. Her style is built around relentless pressure, powerful striking, aggressive takedowns, and ground-and-pound attacks that can turn a competitive fight into a nightmare within seconds. If Mona Kimura brings the speed and flair of a real-life Chun-Li, Mariya Suzuki feels more like the relentless force of Goku, constantly moving forward and refusing to give her opponents the time or space they need to survive. Mariya began making serious waves in the professional fighting world on September 23, 2025, when she stepped into the ring against Japanese fighter Ira. From the opening moments, Mariya made her intentions obvious. Rather than cautiously feeling out her opponent, she immediately applied pressure, forcing Ira backward and gradually trapping her in dangerous positions. Every exchange seemed to push Ira closer to the breaking point as Mariya continued attacking with combinations of punches and kicks. The longer the round continued, the more control Mariya appeared to have, and eventually the relentless assault became too much. Ira was forced to surrender after being overwhelmed by Mariya's aggressive combination of striking attacks, giving Mariya a statement victory and introducing more fans to the destructive potential she possessed. But that first performance was only the beginning. Mariya soon faced a far more dangerous challenge in Tyson Rina, a fighter who wasted no time trying to take the initiative. Rina came forward aggressively from the opening bell, attempting to overwhelm Mariya before she could establish her rhythm. Instead of backing away, Mariya stood her ground and showed the fighting spirit that would become one of the defining characteristics of her style. As the exchanges intensified, she found her opportunity and connected with a perfectly timed left hook that shifted the momentum of the battle. Neither woman was willing to surrender control, and the fight eventually became a violent contest of pressure, timing, and endurance. Near the end of the third round, Mariya took the fight to the ground and unleashed a brutal ground-and-pound sequence that brought her dangerously close to forcing a finish. Rina managed to survive until the bell, but Mariya had once again demonstrated that she could threaten her opponents both standing and on the ground. A few months later, Mariya faced another demanding test against China's Li Weiyue, a disciplined fighter known for her relentless preparation and ability to maintain a high pace. Unlike some of Mariya's previous opponents, Yue was able to match her aggression from the opening round, creating a much more competitive battle. However, one mistake changed everything. Mariya found an opening, secured a takedown, and immediately transitioned into the kind of ground control that had already become one of her most dangerous weapons. Once the fight reached the mat, Mariya's pressure became increasingly difficult to escape, and her ground-and-pound threatened to bring the contest to an abrupt conclusion. It was another reminder that against Mariya, even a single mistake could completely change the direction of a fight. That combination of elite takedowns and devastating ground attacks quickly established Mariya as a serious threat in women's combat sports. Her rise became even more impressive during her appearance at Angels Fighting 6, where she faced Song Hyo-kyung. At that stage of her career, Mariya was still viewed by many as a newcomer, but her performance looked anything but inexperienced. She attacked with extraordinary pace, constantly pressuring Song and refusing to allow her opponent any comfortable rhythm. The relentless barrage eventually became too much, and Mariya's punches dropped Song, leaving her unable to simply walk away from the cage under her own power. It was another brutal display of the pressure that had quickly become Mariya's trademark. However, Mariya's journey was not without setbacks. Against Jang Hyunji, she encountered an opponent who was stronger, more calculated, and determined to withstand everything Mariya could throw at her. The early stages of the fight were closely contested, with both fighters matching each other's aggression and maintaining an intense pace. As the second round progressed, Jang began showing signs of fatigue, giving Mariya an opportunity to increase her pressure. Mariya attacked relentlessly, but despite her efforts, she ultimately came up short because Jang had accumulated a stronger score on the judges' cards. For Mariya, the defeat was not the end of the story. Instead, it became another test that pushed her toward improving and expanding her abilities. That evolution eventually took Mariya into kickboxing, where she faced Rikako Sakurai. Coming from an MMA background, Mariya had to prove that her skills could translate into a different combat environment, and she quickly showed that she belonged. Her punches were accurate, sharp, and increasingly difficult for Sakurai to deal with. Rather than relying entirely on her MMA strengths, Mariya demonstrated that she could compete effectively on the feet and adapt her approach to the demands of kickboxing. By the third round, her striking had become the deciding factor. A series of crushing punches broke through Sakurai's resistance and completely changed the outcome of the fight. What makes Mariya Suzuki so fascinating is not simply the violence of her fighting style, but the speed at which she continues to evolve. She has already shown that she can overwhelm opponents with pressure, hurt them with precise punches, take them down, and punish them on the ground. She has also experienced defeat and used it as motivation rather than allowing it to define her career. That combination of aggression, adaptability, and resilience is exactly what makes her one of the names worth watching in women's fighting. So now the question becomes impossible to ignore. If Mona Kimura represents speed, technique, and the almost unreal image of a real-life Chun-Li, could Mariya Suzuki be the relentless Goku-like force capable of challenging that status? Which fighter would you choose if these two styles ever collided? Let us know your pick in the comments, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more dramatic stories, brutal highlights, and rising stars from the world of combat sports.